Are you still waiting for motivation to arrive, or are you actually going after what you want? The thing is, if you are waiting for motivation to suddenly appear out of nowhere, or even if you do a lot of things for motivation to come, you will most likely wait for a very, very, very long time, if not forever. Because motivation is not actually what you think it might be, and it definitely does not help you with reaching your goals and getting after what or going after what you want. Before I get into today's topic, hello, my name is Martin and welcome to this video. Everybody who is new here, welcome to this channel. Please do subscribe to my channel. It would mean the world to me. I want to reach as many people as possible to share my learnings, my failures, my breakthroughs, like my ups and downs in life, because I want to inspire you to live life on your terms, not anybody else's terms, not the way that so many people are kind of taught to live, basically on the passenger seat of their lives. I want you to be able to step into the driver's seat and actually take control of your own life and live it with passion and purpose. Everybody who already has subscribed, thank you. I really appreciate each and every one of you. All right, let's talk about today's topic. All right, so gotta adjust here on my chair because I felt like I'm slipping off. Anyways, so motivation is BS. The reason I'm saying that is because we rely so much on motivation, like to be motivated to go to the gym, to be motivated to cook, to be motivated to write that book, to be motivated to you name it. If you have done that in the past where you said, I'm going to wait for, or I wish I was motivated, but I can't seem to find that motivation, so I'm going to do it later. If that is you, share in the comment. I would love to hear from you. And I think admitting and being aware, consciously aware of how we show up and sharing it vulnerably, then I think that's the first step to real transformation. So, hi, my name is Martin, and I've definitely been part of that first group that I've just been talking about, of being one of those people who wait for motivation to come. And for a long time, I've done that. I've done that with sports. I've done that with before I started to train as a life coach. Like there's so many different parts in life where I've done that, where I either waited for motivation or sometimes I waited for courage. The thing is, all those things are basically subconsciously just basically an excuse to not go after the things that we want. Okay, I'm going to give you a real life example. So today, I was on the train and, well, before I was on the train, I was on the platform and there was this gorgeous, really gorgeous guy. And I saw him look at me, I looked at him, and it was just like kind of, I didn't know like about his sexuality or anything, but I was just like, wow, he is gorgeous. And we were just like exchanging looks, like a couple times. And at least that's what I felt, and I was just a little bit excited. I was like, ooh, I've shared my videos in the past few months, of getting over a breakup and really having my heart broken by someone that I really, really, really liked. It was very nice today to have that kind of feeling, like again, where I was just like, it was just nice. All right, Martin, do not get off track. Anyways, we happened to be on the same train, and based on the available seats on the train, we were basically sitting not across from each other, but very like basically we could look at each other. God, that sounds creepy, but it was not. So I caught myself, and I've done that in the past, where I said, if we happen to get off the train at the same stop, I'm gonna approach him, just give him my number or something like that. Just come up with something on the spot. And as it happened, we did not get off at the same stop. And during the whole ride, I was just like, should I not? I don't know. There's people around. Why? Like, I don't feel comfortable. The thing is that in that moment, I did not, or I was hoping for courage to come up and be like, okay, let's just go for it. But the thing is, I almost said like it didn't come. But the thing is, courage doesn't just appear. Courage is within me. I just have to tap into it. But I didn't tap into it. I tapped into the fear of rejection. I tapped into the fear of like what other people are going to say if I approach this random guy and maybe he rejects me or whatever. Like there's so many things that came up and I was like, okay, I'm not going to go for it. But that all happened subconsciously for the most part. The same thing happens with motivation. Very often we're like motivated to do something. We're like, oh, I want to get that beach body, or I want to apply for this job or get a job in general. And we're talking ourselves out of it because we're like, oh, I don't feel motivated to send those applications. I'm not motivated to get dressed and go to the gym. The thing is, I don't think it's a lack of motivation, but it's a lack of self-worth. It's a lack of self-discipline, lack of self-love, a lot of lack, actually. Because if you loved yourself, if you think you are worthy and that you are enough and that you have a lot to give, you will most likely just go for it. But something is holding you back. And that's why I say motivation is bullshit, because motivation is like an external thing that you're waiting for that then feels like an internal emotion that then is helping you to do something or to show up in a different way. But it's like an external thing that needs to happen. I recommend that you look into inspiration. Inspiration is completely different than motivation, yet very, very similar. So motivation happens like an external influence helps you to create like a feeling, connect to something, and then go for it. Or not go for it. But you have to connect to it, and it has to kind of like you have to rely on it and be open to it, that the external influence is going to help you feel motivated and do something or show up differently. Whereas inspiration happens internally in your mind and in your heart, where you are maybe through visualization, that you visualize yourself, imagine yourself as that version that does not have any excuse, that version of you that is going after what you want, that version of you that is living the life that you are and want to build, who doesn't second guess or think their choices, where you're just like, of course I'm going to go to the gym because this is part of who I am. Of course I'm going to eat healthy because this is part of who I am. Of course I'm going to apply for this job because I am worthy, I am enough, and I believe in myself. But then you also, if you go a little bit further and you visualize, already looking the way that you want to look, showing up in life the way you want to show up, having that job that you really love, where you wake up in the morning, you're like, I'm tired, but I'm looking forward to it. For me, that happened when especially like in acting, it was like that, but also when I became a coach. Like I was just talking to a client of mine today, and he's like, we were talking about, how to spend our time, like in general, like how he spends his time. And he also asked me about like how I spent my time. And he was like, I assume that there's a lot of other things that you would also do, or maybe rather do, than be here and coach me. And I was like, no. I'm like, yes, there's a lot of things that I love doing. There's a lot of things I want to explore in this world and experience. But I love my job. On the weekend, I told him, on the weekend I was not working. And yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I was thinking about work, and I was like, I'm looking forward to it. I'm like, I'm tired. It's the first coaching session is at 7:15 in the morning, so I have to leave by like 6:15. And I'm like, why did I do that to myself? But I'm like, I know why, because I love it. I love what I do. So just thinking about like the reason why I got into it, the coachings that I have that day, it helps me with creating the inspiration that I need to go and start my day. And then when I look back on my day, I'm filled with pride, with like, I'm proud of myself. I'm grateful for what I have in my life, the experiences, and especially when it comes to work, I just love it, and I'm grateful for everybody that I meet and that I can support on their journey. For everybody who trusts me and who is willing to walk that walk with me, to take me on their path. I don't take it lightly. I love that. And that in itself creates so much inspiration that for me, even when I'm not motivated, even when I feel like, I don't, like with the videos, sometimes I shared with you in previous videos, sometimes I don't feel like I want to record because I had a long day and I'm exhausted. But when I connect to my why, when I connect to the reason why I'm doing it, and I have a couple tools that I'm using where I'm really getting into that place of inspiration, there's no more second guessing. Once I make that decision, say I'm going to go for it, I start setting up like my computer and everything. I know I'm going to do it. And there's just the question of when I'm going to press the record button. I barely ever prepare like a script. Barely ever. I've never prepared a script. I wrote down maybe like a few bullet points of things that I want to share, but usually I don't even do that. It just comes naturally because of conversations that I've had, of things that I've experienced, and that in itself inspires me so much that I just start talking and it just comes out the way it does. That's why it's unfiltered. That's why my videos are not cut, because I want to share authentically, openly, and without any mask, without any filter. I want you to see my fuck ups. I want you to see when I mispronounce words. I want you to see when when something doesn't work the way it does. But I also want you to see, of course, when it does. So I want both, because life it's a combination of both, the failures and the successes. And successes can inspire us to continue, to get that energy and to utilize the momentum. Failures can inspire us to change, to try out new ways, to learn more about ourselves, about life, about other people. There's so many things that we already have within us. If we just access those parts, we would have the inspiration for the inspiration we need for the rest of our lives. It's all within here, our mind and our heart, our soul. Stop looking on the outside for motivation and trust yourself. Start trusting yourself. You're so much more powerful than you probably give yourself credit for. So I invite you that instead of looking for outside motivation, outside motivation is, you can always utilize it. I utilize it a lot, like through music, through motivational videos, through my own coaches. Like there's a lot of motivation I'm also accessing and tapping into, but I don't rely on it. I know that I can create the inspiration no matter if I have the outside input or not. So utilize both. Sometimes motivation, like a motivational video or something like that, helps you kickstart your own inspiration. But inspiration is something that you can create anytime, anywhere. You don't need anything for it, just you. So you have all the power you need. So tap into it, utilize it. Write in the comments, yes, if you affirm it, and let's go on that journey together. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, lots of love from my heart to yours. If you like this video, please like it, share it, comment, and of course, subscribe. And yeah, lots of love. Big hug. See you in the next one.